Hey everyone, Shabby Gamer here, and welcome back to the WWE 2K15 Universe Mode. And as promised, this evening we will crown our first ever Global Force Wrestling Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. So let's have a quick look at the teams that are involved in this competition. We're going to start things off here with Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, of course, representing Bullet Club. They'll be taking on CNC Wrestle Factory, Cedric Alexander, and the brand new Combat Zone Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, Caprice Coleman. We're going to see Kalisto and Mystico, the Lucha Dragons. They're going to face off against Trent and Chuck Taylor, the Best Friends. We have Justin Gabriel and Angelico, the South African Pride, taking on Alexander Kozlov and Rocky Romero, the Forever Hooligans. And we have Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards, the American Wolves, taking on Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, Red Dragon. So without further ado, let's get straight into our first round match. And here we go with our opening match of the competition. Of course, the Young Bucks are one of the favourites in this competition. But then again, you can't write off CNC Wrestle Factory. Of course, Caprice Coleman, the Combat Zone Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, won the belt a couple of weeks back from Dean Ambrose in a singles match on Combat Zone Wrestling's Hardcore Television. Complete surprise. We weren't expecting that at all. But you also know now that Caprice Coleman winning that now means that he's going to have to defend that Combat Zone Wrestling Heavyweight Championship in 3 or 4 weeks' time at the big Combat Zone Wrestling finale, Cage of Death, in a 6-man Hell in a Cell match. So yeah, be sure to check that one out. That's going to be a very, very difficult defense for Caprice Coleman, as Matt Jackson brings in his brother Nick Jackson. And it'd be great here to finally crown our Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. It's something we've been going on about for quite a while, but it's just been trying to fit the video in where we can. I know there's only 8 weeks left now of Global Force Wrestling, so whoever wins this will not have too many defenses to have to go through to finish this Universe Mode as the champions. I think we'll defend it probably at least once, maybe twice before the big finale pay-per-view here for Global Force Wrestling. But it'd be nice because we have a lot of tag teams, and this is something we're definitely going to do from the beginning on 2K16 because there's going to be even more tag teams. So I've been looking through, and there's only 24 names on my Ring of Honor roster, whereas next year I've already got about 55 to be in the roster. So next year it's going to be a much, much bigger and stronger roster. We're going to see a lot more teams, going to see a lot more variation as well. So that's going to be a great way forward. So we're definitely going to have the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship as part of Global Force Wrestling. Global Force, I think I've got 60 names down, whereas at the moment I've only got about 30. So, as I said, we're definitely going to have a much, much more varied universe mode, a lot of different names. And of course, we will be using the new feature that allows us to book guys in more than one roster at the same time. We can do it manually, don't get me wrong, but the game is going to actually do it for us now automatically. So guys like, the whole of Bullet Club will be working both Ring of Honor and Global Force. We'll see guys like Red Dragon work in both rosters, and the Unbreakable Machines, and quite a big chunk really of both rosters, but will be working for both rosters, if that makes sense. There will be, don't get me wrong, there will be a few that will be sort of just fixed to that roster. Guys like Okada and Tanahashi they will work Ring of Honor every now and again, but they're not going to be permanent members of the Ring of Honor roster. Matt Jackson with a great dropkick in the corner, using the top ropes to really gain some leverage over Cedric Alexander. And Alexander with that backbreaker, neckbreaker combination on Matt Jackson. And of course we have some very, very strong teams in this competition for you here this evening. And one team that I'm going to put out there now as a surprise package is going to be the South African Pride. They're not necessarily the two strongest guys in the competition, but I've noticed every time these two guys come into a competition, they just become somebody else. They just become unbeatable. It was the same with the DDT4 Festival when they defeated the Young Bucks in the first round, and then they also went on to defeat the Global Force Wrestling Tag Team Champions, the Killer Elite Squad, in the second round. So it was a very impressive showing for those guys, and I think there's a possibility of them putting on another great showing here this evening. And of course, remember, as in all the tournaments I do, we have got damage retention on. So the first round matches, I think, are going to take a while to be finished off. However, the second round matches and the final should be a lot quicker because of damage retention. However, this is the first time we've done a tag team tournament, so the opponents coming in and breaking the pinfalls is going to make the matches a bit longer than what they were. Because I have had a few tournaments. I think in the Retro King of the Ring, there was one match that lasted about 15 seconds. Because damage retention was on and one guy was just so beaten up from the first couple of rounds. As Coleman and Alexander here looking for some tag team maneuvers, double hip toss. Of course, Coleman not only winning their Combat Zone Wrestling Heavyweight Championship last week against Dean Ambrose, but he also picked up a very impressive victory this week on Combat Zone Wrestling's Hardcore Television against Adam Cole. Of course, Adam Cole is going to be one of those guys in the 6-man Hell in a Cell at Cage of Death in 3 or 4 weeks' time. So it's great for Coleman to pick up a little bit of momentum against him. It's a very loose ankle lock there by Cedric Alexander. Breaks the hold eventually. Now brings Matt Jackson back up to his feet. Up against the ropes. And Matt Jackson just launching Alexander over the top right. Alexander held on. Matt Jackson went to sort of spear him off, but Alexander dropped the top rope, and it's Matt Jackson who drops down hard. I'll tell you what, my flat smells absolutely lovely. I've got a joint of lamb in the oven, and it smells absolutely amazing. Complete shot there by Cedric Alexander. Sorry to go completely off target there, but another complete shot on the outside by Cedric Alexander, and the damage really being done here to Matt Jackson. Referee trying to regain some control in this match. Coleman throws Matt Jackson back into the ring. And now Alexander continuing the abuse. Coleman has Matt Jackson up on his shoulders. Sorry, Alexander has Matt Jackson up his shoulders. There's the GTS. Coleman's taking Nick Jackson off the apron. CNC Wrestle Factory could be going through. And they are. The Young Bucks are out in the first round. And CNC Wrestle Factory are victorious here. And the Young Bucks just have... I don't know what it is. They just always seem to struggle in these big tournaments. As I said earlier on, one of the favourites to go on and win this competition. And now they've been knocked out on the first round. See Coleman coming across there and taking Nick Jackson off the apron. Cedric Alexander hitting the GTS middle of the ring. In for the free count. And CNC Wrestle Factory going on to the second round later on this evening. They will face the winners of our next match, Lucha Dragons and Best Friends, for a place in that finals. What a surprising victory here. Well, I say surprising, of course. It is the Combat Zone Wrestling Heavyweight Champion and his partner, so it's not overly surprising, but still, as I said, Young Bucks, in my mind, were one of the favourites to go on and win this entire competition. And our second first-round match here this evening will be the Lucha Dragons, Kalisto and Mystico, taking on Best Friends, Trent and Chuck Taylor. And here we go, we're going to start off with Kalisto and Trent in the ring. Of course, the winners of this match will go on to face CNC Wrestle Factory later on this evening in the second round. And remember, as I mentioned in the first match, damage retention is on, so I don't think CNC really sustained that much damage against the Young Bucks. They seem to control most of the match, so it's going to be the case here for both of these teams to really try and conserve their energy if they do make it through. And great teamwork there by Best Friends. Chuck Taylor throwing Kalisto towards that rope, and Trent dropping the top rope. Kalisto hits the ground hard, but catches Trent with a drop kick to the back just to try and get his own back. But Chuck Taylor's out there now in the numbers game. The Best Friends really taking its toll on Kalisto. Kalisto's back in the ring now. Chuck Taylor wakes way back into the ring. Kalisto's there waiting for him, but Taylor with the back elbow and the jawbreaker regaining some control of this match. Taylor now throwing Kalisto into that corner, and I believe that Chuck Taylor is somebody that WWE are interested in signing up, and that doesn't surprise me because Chuck Taylor is a very accomplished wrestler, but he also has that great comedy aspect as well, which I think WWE always like to have somebody like the comedy guy, don't they? They always like to have a Santino or somewhere along them sort of lines. So I think to bring someone like Chuck Taylor in is a very clever move because he's such a fantastic wrestler as well. Mystico making the quick tag there, trying to catch Chuck Taylor unaware, but Didn't really work as Taylor just catches him straight away with the boots to the face, and now the pump handle drop as well. Great move by Chuck Taylor, and Taylor is dominating this match so far against the Lucha Dragons. Double axe handle to the back of Místico, and there's a big clothesline clubbing blow across the back as well, but Kalisto manages to catch a hold of Chuck Taylor, and Místico takes advantage with that slap to the face. Taylor's back up though. Místico blocking the punch and catching Taylor in that front chancery, but Taylor reverses with that move there and gets caught with the spinning heel kick. Místico back up now, twisting the arm of Chuck Taylor, and there's a knee to the stomach by Taylor as well. Oh great, I thought there was going to be a quick roll up there, but Taylor released it, and now with the elbow drops, a big trio of elbow drops. And Taylor starting to regain some control this match. He was in control very early on. And now looking for a submission here as the arm hooked beneath his leg. And now wrenching back at the neck of Místico. But it didn't quite have all of it and had to release the hold. And again, Kalisto managed to catch a hold of Chuck Taylor. And Taylor needs to really improve his ring awareness. He's getting far too close to Kalisto. Now Taylor's going here. He's up on the top rope. Big moonsault catching the standing Místico. Stomps there now as well to Místico. Brings him back up to his feet. And Chuck Taylor's really in control of this match. The Lucha Dragons are struggling here. Taylor has the leg of Místico. And there's the dragon screw. And now Taylor comes across and brings in his tag team partner Trent. And Trent with that great running snapmare on Místico. And a springboard splash as well. And Trent continuing the domination here for Best Friends over the Lucha Dragons. Chuck Taylor has a hold of Místico now, getting his own back for the teamwork done by the Lucha Dragons. And Místico gets caught with a headbutt by Trent. Trent with the elbow drop to the back and now brings Místico back up to his feet. Místico with a boot to the stomach of Trent. Now Trent with the knee to the stomach of Místico. Místico trying to regain some control here. And there's that tilt-a-whirl arm drag. And Místico going to bring his partner Kalisto back in. Kalisto manages to get behind Trent, but Trent with a reversal arm drag. And it just seems that the Best Friends have been one step ahead of the Lucha Dragons at all parts of this match. A great tilt-a-whirl head scissors there by Kalisto, and could this be a turning point in this match? Standing moonsault as well. Brings Trent back up to his feet. Both guys blocking the punches. Trent with that snapmare eventually taking Kalisto back down to the ground, but Kalisto comes running back and catches Trent with a headlock. Twisting the arm. What's he got planned here? With Trent with the knee to the stomach. Trying to regain some control again. Great arm drag there by Kalisto, and now a punt to the middle of the back, and it's got to do some damage that to Trent. Drop kick to the back of the neck by Kalisto, but Trent still up on his feet. The two guys lock up. It's Trent who comes out on top, and just the clubbing blow to the back of the head of Kalisto. Trent now twisting the arm of Kalisto, but Kalisto with a knee to the stomach. Back elbow there by Trent. Step up enziguri by Trent as well. Great move. Brings Kalisto back up to his feet, but Kalisto's there. Throwing Trent over that top rope, and then a boot to the stomach to drop him down to the ground. Trent straight back in the ring and makes the tag to his partner Chuck Taylor. Chuck avoids that spinning heel kick and twisting the arm of Kalisto. And Trent showing his Lucha Libre style as well. Sorry, Chuck Taylor showed his Lucha Libre style. And Trent's in now, and he's taken Místico off the apron. And the awful waffle by Chuck Taylor. And he's also got his feet up on the ropes. Referee doesn't see it. 1, 2, and no! Kalisto kicks out. I was for sure that was going to be the end of this match. Head scissors takedown there by Kalisto. And I was sure Trent had this one. Sorry, I was sure Taylor had this one. Used his big finisher maneuver, the awful waffle. And then using the ropes for leverage to try and steal the victory. And it just wasn't enough. Taylor brings Trent back into the match. And Trent's going to have an opportunity now to try and finish this one off. Drop kick to the knee by Kalisto. And Kalisto finally makes it across to make the tag in to Mystico on the hot tag, but Trent ducks it. As normal, the hot tag does not work. It never does on this game. Great running snapmare there by Trent, and both these teams are taking a lot of damage in this match. Trent with a big moonsault off the top, locking in for the pin. 1, 2, and Kalisto is there just in time to break up the pin. And this match still continues on. Reverse neckbreaker by Trent and brings Chuck Taylor back in. Chuck Taylor, a big knee to the face of Mystico, and you saw the amount of thrust he put behind it. He actually fell onto the ground himself. Now locking in a camel clutch right in front of Kalisto. Surely not going to be enough, and it's not. Kalisto with just a boot to the chest of Chuck Taylor, forcing Taylor to break the hold. Mystico makes the tag into Kalisto. Chuck Taylor's there. Kalisto went for the springboard and Taylor avoids it. And now Mystico gets a hold of Chuck Taylor, and again Taylor's ring positioning. He needs to work on that because he's getting far too close to his opposition's corner and getting caught out like that a few times this match. Taylor launching Kalisto over his head, now launching with his stomps as well. Brings Kalisto back to his feet, and there's a huge punch there, just knocking Kalisto down. Going in for the pin. 1, 2, only a 2 count. Taylor now twisting the arm of Kalisto. Takes him over into that submission hold. He's got the arm locked. Is it going to be enough? No, Mystico's in and makes Chuck Taylor break the hold. Taylor again just stomping to the grounded Kalisto. Pull him into the middle of the ring. We go for the pin, he does. 1, 2. Oh, Mystico is just there in time. Great head scissors takedown by Kalisto. And again, both these teams taking a lot of damage so far, and I bet CNC Wrestle Factory are backstage is willing this match to go further. Chuck Taylor with a quick roll up. Only for a 2 count. Mystico had reversed the submission. Reversed the pin, sorry. Let's go throwing Chuck Taylor into the corner. Now going up for a springboard. Arm drag. But is that move all style and no substance? It did a little bit of damage to Chuck Taylor, but with the risk involved by Mystico, was it worth it? Taylor going to the top himself, and there's an elbow drop to the back of Mystico. Rolls him over into the pin again. 1, 2, and Kalisto's there in time again to break the pin. Chuck Taylor with a dragon screw on Mystico. Clever move, taking away the legs of the Lucha Dragons is definitely a way to stop them hitting the springboard moves. And now Chuck has Mystico up again. There's the awful waffle. In for the pin. 1, 2. And that's it. Trent did a fantastic job of taking Kalisto out. Chuck Taylor hits his second awful waffle of the match and hits the pin on Mystico. Great teamwork as Trent just takes the advancing Kalisto out of contention, stopping him from breaking the pin. There was a quick roll up there by Chuck, only for the 2 count. This was the 3 early on as well. It was only the 2 count early on as well. And this is the second awful waffle. Such a vicious sort of power driver is that. And you see here Trent just hitting that spinning lariat on Kalisto to stop him getting across and breaking the pin. So these two guys will go on now to face off against CNC Wrestle Factory later on. You've got to think that CNC are probably going to be in a better condition. They've taken less damage here this evening. It was a much shorter match as well. I think this match is almost double the length of the first match. So they'll be rubbing their hands together, but it's going to be no easy feat for them. And our next match here this evening will be the South African Pride, Justin Gabriel and Angelico, taking on the Forever Hooligans, Alexander Kozlov and Rocky Romero. And here we go, going to start off with Justin Gabriel and Alexander Kozlov in the ring. And of course, whoever wins this match will go on to face the winners of our next match, American Wolves, David Richards and Eddie Edwards, and Red Dragon, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. You see the Hooligans here working together well early on. Drop toe hold into the elbow, drop to the back. And now Rocky Romero in the ring, who's a tiny bit green, is Rocky Romero. I've noticed that a few times. Gabriel bringing Romero back up to his feet and then catching that drop kick. And as I've said, dark horses in this competition for me would be the South African Pride. Normally in these competitions, they tend to come out of their shell a little bit. They tend to do a lot better than what they have done in normal universe mode. Saying that, they are the former Global Force Wrestling Tag Team Champions. They won them belts very early on against the Young Bucks. And I think they lost them not far after against the Young Bucks as well. But yeah, they've shown their capabilities of winning gold in this universe mode. There's no reason why tonight can't be the same thing. And just looking at the time at the moment, I may be splitting this video into two halves just to make it quicker and easier for me to edit and to upload. So I think we'll do all the first round matches. So we'll finish this match off and do our last first round match. Will be American Wolves versus the Red Dragon. And then we will be uploading the second round and the final as a separate video, just to, as I say, just to keep the videos a bit shorter. Be better for you guys as well as me. Yeah, it just makes it a lot easier and quicker for me to edit as well, and to upload. Series of elbow drops there by Justin Gabriel on the outside. Angelico throwing Rocky Romero back into the ring. Referee still making his count. Elbow to the face there by Justin Gabriel. And now Romero's across, makes the tag back into Alexander Kozlov. And of course, Romero and Kozlov will be in next year's Universe mode as the Forever Hooligans once again. However, Justin Gabriel, I think, is going to be one of our casualties. He's not going to be involved. The tag team next year will be Angelico and Jack Evans. I think they're called the Sky Blondes across in AAA. So we'll be using them as a tag team rather than Justin Gabriel. We might bring Justin Gabriel in at some point. It's PJ Black. We'll see how it all pans out. We'll see if we have the space. Of course, as I mentioned, we are going to have some massive rosters next year. I think all the rosters are going to be at least sort of 40, I think, I've aimed for. But some of them are up to about 60. Yeah, that's mainly because we're getting double the amount of guys on the base game. Of course, we're getting quite a few names on the downloadable content as well. I've mentioned a couple of my videos, one, if somebody can help me if they know the answers to this question, but in the downloadable content, it's been announced, of course, the last few days for 2K16. Do you know, I think it was the same in this year, do you know that if every match on like the showcase that involved two people, we'll be getting an extra model for that person? For example, I would imagine like one of these showcase matches is Alundra Blaze versus Paige. Of course, we'll be getting the Alundra Blaze wrestler to use in the game. However, are we going to get a separate page? Because obviously on this year and all the showcase, we were getting extra, like we'll get a Del Rio from 2011, or we get an Edge, or we'll get a Christian, or we get a new Big Show, or we get a new Mark Henry sort of thing. So does that mean we're going to get a second page? Also, does that mean when we've seen the video recently of the 4 faces of Kane, so there's 4 Kanes, are we going to have 4 Kanes in 4 separate Kane characters, or are there going to be 1 Kane character with 4 separate attires? So just some things I'm sort of interested in knowing. If you guys know the answers to them questions, please let me know in the comment section. It does help me out, because it means I can start to plan a bit better for next year's Universe mode. And of course, if we've got 4 separate Kanes, we can use the retro-looking Kane to put into the retro roster. We could have the Attitude Era Kane and the Attitude Era, and of course a more up-to-date Kane in the current day roster. If not, we can still use Kane in those three situations, but he's just not going to look perfect because he's going to have a different attire. So yeah, it'd be interesting to know. I know on this year's game we've got two Kanes. We've got an up-to-date Kane and a retro Kane, so there's no reason why that won't be the case. As Alexander Kozlov with a pin early on, only for a 2 count, and Angelico kicking out. Now Kozlov with a big DDT. And could that be all here? Brings Angelico into the middle of the ring. Going to go in for the pin. 1, 2. No, Gabriel's there just in time to break the pin up. And that could have been a very quick finish there. Remember, the damage retention is on this tournament, so the less of a beating you take in round number 1 is really going to help you going forward in this competition. Elbow drop to the back there by Kozlov, and Forever Hooligans dominating this match at the moment. Elbow drop again, well, it's a pin again, sorry. Only for a 2 count, and it's an elbow drop by Justin Gabriel. It breaks it up. The shin breaker here by Angelico on Alexander Kozlov, creating some space, and gets across and brings in his partner Justin Gabriel. What's Gabriel got left in his locker here this evening? A trip there on Alexander Kozlov. A couple of back elbows by Kozlov though, as Gabriel tried to catch him from behind. And now Kozlov makes the tag into Rocky Romero. It's a hot tag. He takes the first man out. He takes the second man out. Rocky Romero succeeds with a hot tag. If that's not enough to win the competition, I don't know what is. Winning 3 matches on one night is nothing. Getting a hot tag in a match on 2K15 is amazing. Drop toe hold into the elbow drop to the back, and South African Pride starting to retake some control. Boots the stomach by Romero though. And now a knee to the stomach by Angelico. Back elbow by Rocky Romero. And comes across and brings in Alexander Kozlov again. Angelico is looking a bit light on his feet there, but maybe playing a bit of possum. And Angelico is another guy that I've seen rumours that WWE are interested in signing. And for me, that means that they may be looking at bringing back some sort of cruiserweight division, as Justin Gabriel takes Alexander Kozlov up and drops him. Angelico takes Romero off the apron, and surely that's going to be all. And it is, and the Forever Hooligans are out. South African Pride, my dark horses, make their way through to the second round here this evening in this Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship tournament. As you see, the early hip toss on the outside. Hip tosses always get a replay on this game. There's a 2 count there. This was the teamwork, the drop toe hold into the elbow drop to the back. And this is the big finish. See Gabriel taking Kozlov up on his shoulders and dropping him face first. And Angelico had taken Romero off the apron. And there's the 3 count. Justin Gabriel and Angelico, the South African Pride, advance on. They will face the winners of our next match, the American Wolves, Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards, and Red Dragon, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. They've done quite well here, South African Pride. I don't think they've taken too much damage. They're going to go into the next match, I wouldn't say fresh, but that's probably as good as they could hope to be. And now it's time for our final first round match of the evening, as American Wolves, Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards take on Red Dragon, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. And here we go. We're going to start with Davey Richards and Bobby Fish in the ring. Of course, both these teams representing Ring of Honor at the moment, but as I said earlier on, with the 2K16 using or being able to put teams in more than one roster, both of these teams will be permanent members of both Ring of Honor and Global Force next year on 2K16. So that's going to really help develop the tag team division on both Ring of Honor and Global Force, really. Global Force is going to have a huge tag team division. I think I've got almost 18, 19 teams penciled in to be on Global Force Wrestling, but remember, they are going to have 2 tag team championships. They're going to have the normal Global Force tag team championships and the junior tag team championships, which are being fought for here this evening in the 2K15 roster. Who's going to be the first ever Global Force Wrestling Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions here on our 2K15 Universe mode. We know that it's going to be either CNC Wrestle Factory, Best Friends, South African Pride, or American Wolves or Red Dragon. And as I mentioned earlier on, we're going to stop this video after this match and we're going to upload a part 2, I think, because it's going to be getting a bit long. I think we're up to about 40 minutes now. Obviously it'd be less for you guys because I'm going to have to cut out all the fluff in the middle, but just to make it a bit easier on me to edit and upload these videos, I'm going to split it into 2 halves. We're going to have the big finale episode after this. Of course, we'll only have the semi-finals and the final match. There's going to be 3 matches in the next video, but I think it'll definitely be worth splitting it up. Of course, damage retention is on, so those matches should be a bit quicker, but in a normal singles competition, I wouldn't split the videos, but because the damage retention will make the matches a lot quicker. But obviously, with the tag team aspect and having your partner able to come in and break the holds, I think it makes it a bit more likely that the matches will go on longer than what they normally do in the singles competitions. And Kyle O'Reilly taking some control here early on against Eddie Edwards. And of course, going back to damage retention, we saw South African Pride do pretty well in their last match. They took a little bit of damage, but not as much as some would expect them to take against the Forever Hooligans. So they're going in, I wouldn't say fresh, but better than they could have expected into their next match. And I think either of those 2 teams will be looking to try and do the same. However, these 2 teams are probably 2 of the stronger teams in this competition. It's been unfortunate they've ended up against each other. And yeah, I'd expect this to go quite a while, this match. I think this is going to be one of the tougher matches. But then again, to win this competition, you have to beat the best. And you've got to beat the best, basically. So these 2 teams going at it now. American Wolves and Red Dragon. Of course, we're also going to try and upload today the Ring of Honor #1 Contenders Tournament for the Television Championship. And involved in that competition will also be Davey Richards and Kyle O'Reilly. So again, keep an eye out for that. You can nip down to the old description below and you will find a link to the Ring of Honor playlist, as well as all the other playlists that we're currently running in this universe mode. There's 6 brands altogether. So if you look down there, you will find a link, and hopefully that video is going to be uploaded pretty much straight after this one. So if you're not watching this within a few hours of this being uploaded, then you should be able to check that video out straight away afterwards. Great half Nelson into a neck breaker, and Eddie Edwards gets a hold of Kyle O'Reilly and holds him back as Davey Richards can take advantage of that knee to the stomach. Of course, whoever wins that Ring of Honor #1 contendership for the Television Championship, oh god, I'm losing my words now, tournament over on the Ring of Honor playlist, they will be going on to face Adam Cole, the Ring of Honor Television Champion, at our big finale episode. That's only about 5 weeks away now, so we're going to crown our #1 contender there. Yeah, all the finale episodes are starting to come together a bit now. We know Ring of Honor's main event for their finale episode is going to be a fatal 4-way Iron Man match, just like the way they crowned their first ever Ring of Honor champion. It's going to be the way we're going to crown our last ever Ring of Honor heavyweight champion in this universe mode. It's going to be Samoa Joe defending against CM Punk, Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn in that 4-way 15-minute Iron Man match. Whoever picks up the most pinfalls or submissions in the 15 minutes will be crowned the Ring of Honor heavyweight champion. And we know for Global Force Wrestling, we know it's going to be Kazuchika Okada, the global champion, defending against the G1 Climax winner Brian Cage in that big main event for the finale episode. We also know that Combat Zone Wrestling is going to have a Cage of Death match, a 6-man Hell in a Cell, as Caprice Coleman defends against Dean Ambrose, Adam Cole, Biff Busick, Chris Hero, and Ricochet, I believe. If I remembered all 5 of those names, that'd be pretty impressive. But of course, there's some rosters that aren't coming to the end yet. We have WWE, who today, hopefully as well, you should be able to see the Night of Champions pay-per-view. That's been uploaded today. That's going to be a great one, that. We're going to see former Ring of Honor talent Cesaro have an opportunity at John Cena's heavyweight championship over there. So it's going to be Cesaro versus Cena for the championship. Also, I think we're going to have like a pre-show on that one as well. It's something I haven't done before, but there's just a few guys that are not on the card that I really think should have a match. So we're going to upload a little free match pre-show before that pay-per-view. So be sure to check that one out as well. I'm really giving myself a lot of extra videos to do today, aren't I, really? I'm going a bit crazy. But then again, it's only 11 o'clock on Sunday morning. I've got an entire day of doing nothing but uploading and recording and editing. So I do need to have breakfast pretty soon. But I want to try and get as much as I possibly can done for you guys. Of course, I'm going to be away next week, so I'm hoping to get ahead as well and get as many videos online as I can, so they're there ready for you guys. Big discus lariat there by Bobby Fish. Kyle O'Reilly takes Davey Richards out, but Eddie Edwards was at a good enough state to kick out himself. Davey Richards takes Kyle O'Reilly out with that sort of a variation of a GTS. And you see Kyle O'Reilly's down out in the middle of the ring. He's finally back up to his feet. Bobby Fish has Edwards outside on the apron, and there's the big DDT on the apron. And the referee has lost all control in this match now. Hip toss on the outside by Eddie Edwards. That's going to be a replay, that is. You can't just get away with a hip toss without it being a replay in this game. Kyle O'Reilly trying to catch Eddie Edwards on the outside, but Eddie's really taking control of Kyle O'Reilly. David Richards come out now and is assaulting Kyle O'Reilly on the outside. And of course, I'm pretty sure, don't hold me to this, but I'm pretty sure David Richards was one of the guys who actually trained Kyle O'Reilly. So I remember seeing an old Dragon Gate USA event. It was an amazing event, that was. I'll have to watch that again pretty soon. It was a Dragon Gate USA event, and it was Daniel Bryan's last match on the indie scene. And after the match, Daniel Bryan came out and said that he's not leaving the indie scene empty-handed, of course, and he introduced Davey Richards and said, this is the guy that's going to take my place. And then the same thing happened a few years later when Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards went to join TNA. Davey Richards brought out Kyle O'Reilly. It was at a Pro Wrestling Guerrilla event, and said that I'm not leaving the indie scene empty-handed. He said this guy is going to be the guy that replaces me. He said there's some fantastic talent. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that Davey Richards was one of the guys that helped train Kyle O'Reilly. I think they lived together for quite a while as well. So there's a great friendship and respect there. But these two teams know what's at stake here this evening. They know the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships here in Global Force Wrestling is up for grabs. Going to crown our first ever champions. A chance to hold on to that belt until the very, very end of the Universe mode as well. To be immortalised as the 2K15 Universe Global Force Wrestling Junior Heavyweight Champions. Great step up in Saguri by Davey Richards. And now just dropping his entire body weight on that arm of Kyle O'Reilly, going in for the pin. 1, 2. Only a 2 count. Fish was there, but O'Reilly didn't need him. He kicked out on his own accord. Belly to belly suplex there by Kyle O'Reilly on Davey Richards. And now a big punt to the back as well. O'Reilly across and brings in Bobby Fish. Davey Richards is there waiting for him. The two guys lock up. It's Richards who comes out on top of that headlock, now throwing Fish into the Wolves corner. It's the Wolves versus the Dragon here this evening. Snapmare by Davey Richards holds Bobby Fish in place as Eddie Edwards with a big, big boot to the face of Bobby Fish. Now follows up, working on the arm again, going in for the pin. 1, 2. Again, only a 2 count. I don't think Kyle O'Reilly was quite there in time, but Bobby Fish had enough left in his locker to kick out. Fish brings O'Reilly back in. Big boot by O'Reilly to the head of Eddie Edwards. This could be it for Eddie Edwards. He looks down and out here. Ref going for the count. 1, 2. Oh, Davey Richards was out of position, but he just managed to get there on the 2 count. Armbar now by Kyle O'Reilly and Eddie Edwards. And Richards again there to break it up. Helping his teammate out there. O'Reilly throws Richards into the corner. There's the running dropkick. And we saw this earlier on. O'Reilly lining up Eddie Edwards and just boot to the face in that corner. 1, 2. Oh, only a 2 count. I don't think Richards would have got there this time. The trip by Eddie Edwards, and now locking in a knee bar on Kyle O'Reilly, but right in front of Bobby Fish. And Bobby Fish is there to elbow drop Eddie Edwards and force him to break the hold. Standing guillotine hold here by Kyle O'Reilly. And it's enough. David Richards was trying to break the submission hold, but O'Reilly would just not let go. And Red Dragon victorious here. They're going on to face South African Pride in round number 2. What a great match we've seen here between these two teams. But I think both teams taking a significant amount. There's the. I told you that hip toss would be a replay, didn't I? I told you. Both these teams have taken a bit of a beating, but as I said, both very strong teams. And we know now that Red Dragon will face off against South African Pride. Of course, that will be in our second half of this video. Be sure to check that out. It will be uploaded straight after this one. Hopefully you guys will be able to watch it straight away. But I have been Shabby Gamer. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please like, it does help me a hell of a lot, and subscribing is an even bigger bonus for me. Of course, be sure to check out part number 2 of this video, which will be uploaded pretty much straight after this one. Maybe an hour or so afterwards, because that's how long it takes to upload the videos. But as I said, I've been Shabby Gamer. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in part number 2.